Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody, wherever you are, depending on your time zone. I'm here to give you guys my recap on the new episode or chapter of RWBY Volume 8 on number 6, episode or chapter 6. This was a very nice episode, and we get to know at least 50% of the episode, or possibly more, is about Cinder herself. Now, call me crazy Milanakis whatsoever, but that's what the episode mostly shows. Well, yeah. If anything else, if I had to put in simple words about Cinder's backstory or past of what happened to her, it's like that of Cinderella, but a little bit possibly worse. I mean, I'll get to that in just a moment. You guys might be telling me, we all knew that she's from, she's like the inspiration of Cinderella. I mean, her name is Cinder, etc., so that should be a little obvious. So what do you mean a little worse? I'll get to that in just a moment. We get to see Cinder's backstory opens up, where it started out from the very beginning of Volume 8 on the first episode, where she's scrubbing the floors, and she was bullied by kids, and that she tried to fight back. Eventually, she gets adopted into a modern hotel, in some kind of inn or hotel, and she is pretty much like, tormented there. I mean, the one who adopted her was nothing more than an evil stepmother, and she had two twin daughters, which apparently represented that of the original Cinderella. Call me crazy, but we have to it that she's been working hard. She never had the chance to eat a proper meal. She was always treated like trash or garbage, and that's really terrible. And there are times where she will lose control of her anger, where her sisters ticked her off, and by dirtying the floors again, and she will activate her powers. She will activate her semblance or her powers unconsciously without knowing, and then get into a nasty fight. And you know what? She will be forced to have this nasty collar on her to be controlled by her evil stepmother by saying these words: "Without you, I am nothing." But we have to it that she had a compassionate teacher eventually. He does see her being tormented very badly and decides to teach her. When she grows up enough, she will be able to take the huntsman exams and become a huntress herself if she wants to, etc. So time and time again, he will go on missions and come back and train Cinder how to fight, etc. And I thought it was pretty nice. But eventually, when the time came about and her evil stepsister snitched on her and her mother decided to go stop her, we have to it that Cinder lost control after being abused by them again and ends up actually killing all three of them. Even when she's being controlled by that stupid collar electrifying her, it did not work. And eventually she ends up breaking the neck of her evil stepmother, and then by that time, the huntsman who trained her has to stop her now, or takes her in for arrest because she's now a murderer. By that time, she ends up having to she's able to surpass him after he dropped down his guard and able to push her to a corner. But later on, she ends up stabbing him, and his last thing that he did beforehand is just patting her head and wishing her possibly good luck. By that time, Cinder will later on look up into the sky and cry in tears that she's finally free from her torment, possibly. I don't know. But after that, Cinder wakes up in the whale grim, and Emerald tries to help her out. And Mercury, on the other hand, mocks Cinder for disobeying Salem, and says, "I'm not taking orders from you anymore, You don't care about us, blah, blah, blah." And looks like Mercury, I can understand why he's acting that way. No offense here and there, but yeah. And that something big is about to happen. As for Oscar, he talks to Ozpin, and Ozpin tells him, "Let me handle this. You've been taking too much of a beating." And we have to it that Oscar talks to Ozpin in his mind, or talks to Ozpin saying she can't take on the whole world by herself at once, So if anything, she's been trying to sabotage and turn us against each other from the inside. You and I should do the same. And Ozpin and Oscar actually had that same mentality. And then Hazel comes in getting ready to torture Oscar again, and Ozpin decides to take over, and Hazel becomes so enraged to see him and ends up having to throw him aside and gets ready to beat him up more, and physically torture him, that kind of thing. We have to it that Osmond tries to ask Hazel, why the hell, look at what Salem is. Why are you working for her? She's doing way worse stuff than possibly what I ever did. What's the deal? And we have to it that Hazel says Salem can't be stopped. She is a force of nature that cannot be defeated at all. Every time I see her, man, she's always like, I've seen it firsthand, etc. Hazel explains why he follows Salem, etc. And Osmond tries to tell Hazel this, like, hey, if she gets all the relics together, she will end the world. He was about to say that, but Salem's like, you finally picked the right time. And we have to it that, like, we do see Hazel a bit when he seemed to be a little like hesitant, So that means Hazel's not really 100% gone, but I think he will be gone eventually because he already killed a lot. I'm pretty sure he killed a lot of innocent lives already, not to mention like huntsmen and huntresses who's trying to like protect the world. And Hazel's one of the reasons tells Osmond that you send many children, many people to their deaths for an endless point of a victory. You hear me? And Osmond, like I said, tries to convince Hazel otherwise. Someone has to try, even if it is impossible. Try to make the impossible possible. And we have to it that Salem has all her followers like at her throne room, and she gives news about like how Watts is able to control the puppet and that she still sees Watts as useful after all. Obvious from the get-go, his intelligence and all that is not that hard to like get rid. Is something you can't get rid of easily. We all know that. That aside, we have to it that Salem seems to lecture Cinder and seems to burn her very badly because with the grim arm with the grim arm, it's already burning her just like that same torment she had when she was young, when she had a necklace on her, when she had a freaking like an electrifying necklace around her, But we have to it that Cinder, instead of being punished by Salem very badly and possibly take a physical beating or whatever the case may be, Salem understands Cinder and says, instead of raising you, and tell Cinder, I want you to find Watt. He will lead you to the Winter Maiden, and she will be yours to take. And I will get the staff as I want, And we have to it that that we see that after that, she says the show is about to begin. We have to it that Osmond tries to tell everyone, like, you have no idea what she's trying to do, but Salem tells Ozma, it's too late. And we have to it that that the Ace Ops are arguing amongst themselves about trusting Watts right now, and Winter tries to tell him, hey, keep your mouth shut and keep calm, you hear me? And we have to it that they have a radio message from Jean right now saying, look, there's a big wave of Grimm right now coming to Mantle. Do you hear me? Everyone, there's a big wave of Grimm coming to Mantle. Do you read me? Then we have to it that the Ace Ops ship lands right in front of Yang, Jean, and Ren, who's riding a motorcycle back to Mantle, and John tries to talk to them, but apparently they don't care about that, and they want the Winter Maiden or where's Penny? And John's like, are you freaking kidding me right now? There's a wave of Grimm, and many people are going to die. And Harriet tries to argue back by saying, look, people are going to die because of your selfish actions, but all of a sudden, it's too late. They don't realize what's going on. They end up seeing a pool of Grimm somehow launching to Atlas Kingdom, and ends up seeing a bunch of centipede like Grimm, and even though they shot a couple down, that's too late. They end up taking down one of the towers that's supposed to keep the shields up, and everyone, especially Ruby, can only stare in total shock and horror right now, realizing what's going on, especially the Ace Ops. And Salem says, it is time. And she ends up having her whale Grimm land on Atlas ground and have the whale Grimm open its mouth, and a pool of water Dark Grimm shows up, and then a lot of Grimm shows up and screams and getting ready for destruction. I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm really gonna say this. I would not be very surprised if Salem really wins in the end, because this is where all hell is breaking loose right now. Like, wow. Like I said, when it came to Cinder's backstory, I thought it was really nice. It represented that of Cinderella herself, It's the only difference is Cinder went down an evil, murderous psychopath path instead of a better one. But I can understand why. I mean, like, during that moment of crisis, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive. And, I think that's when Salem found her, decides to take her in, teach her, train her, and promise to give her the power she wants, And Salem, on the other hand, might have lectured Cinder and was punishing her for disobeying her, but instead decides to give her better compassion compared to her evil stepmother she had in the past of her, So I thought Cinder's backstory was pretty nice. I mean, it represented that of Cinderella, I mean, she had 2 evil stepsisters, and evil stepmother, treated her like filth and garbage, never cared for her as much, and yeah. But eventually, Cinder became a murderous warrior after a huntsman tried to train her and decided to put her into Huntsman Academy by any chance, but that aside. Anyways, and yeah, Salem's plan of destroying Atlas has already come into fruition, or it's all according to plan now. She had her poor Grimm have a couple centipedes go through the shields and take down one of the shield towers, and Ironwood could only stare in total shock and horror, realizing what's to come. It's going bad right now, and the Ace Ops are looking for the Winter Maiden, steps right in front of Jean, Ren, and Jang, and arguing amongst themselves, and yeah, while they end up seeing Salem finally taking down the shields of Atlas, and etc. Oh boy, here we go. I would not be surprised if Salem wins, and if that is really the conclusion, I think that would be the best to leave out in a nasty cliffhanger like that, because how are you supposed to stop her now, dude? I mean, look at what the hell is going on now. Unless randomly if some help comes along the way, which could be almost impossible depending if they have the ships or so. Who knows? So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!